and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan. Of course, even though I knew I was to talk, I'm like, oh, I'll take a drink of something. Yeah.
I knew my line was coming up, but that doesn't mean I was not going to blow it on our fucking radio.
Seems like a perfect opportunity to just take a drink of my Monster. Yeah.
No, that happens all the time, but you know what's an interesting thing? Okay, since our last podcast and the last one we did, we seemed like we talked all about Final Fantasy 15 and all its weird nuances that made it goofy. Well,
you talked about it. I was just like, oh, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, I've put some copious amount of more hours into that game, and I think it's all kind of come back around. That game is probably one of my favorite PS4 games so far.
Oh, okay. So it all panned around. That's good to know. I was kind of like curious. Is this like a Metal Gear Solid 5 where we both walk away kind of disappointed, or is it going to come back around for you?
Well, Metal Gear Solid 5 was like the other way around, where like it started off real sweet, but then as it came towards the end, you're like, oh, it
clearly petered out, and they just like, let's slap a bow on this thing, get on the fucking truck.
Yeah, because realistically, when like the first 10 hours you probably put into Metal Gear Solid 5 are amazing. You have such a good time, and then from that point on, you realize it's like, oh, it just repeats a lot of these missions over again, and there's not really like a definitive ending, and the story starts to disappear. You slowly, and it's just repeated by all these, same things you've already done.
Mm-hmm.
But Final Fantasy 15, on the other hand, started off weird and goofy, and I know it's probably because I had my shields up of like, it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be like 1998 all over again. I don't know. I can't trust this. My old man gamer was coming out and fear for my life. And then once I kind of let that go down, and I sort of accepted the battle system that it's not turn-based, but whatever, the game started to become fine. And then as the game progressed on, it's like, oh, this story's getting real sweet. And then you start seeing all the Final Fantasy elements. It's like, okay, there's a chocobo I can ride. And oh, fuck, is riding a chocobo pretty fucking cool in this game. This is actually almost cooler than 7. And then, you start seeing all your summons. So you see Ramuh, and you see Titan, you see Leviathan. They look all badass. And it's like, okay, it's starting to really feel like a Final Fantasy game.
I was going to say, like, earlier we were talking about, like, feeling like an old man with your defenses up. Is it kind of like Cloud, Squall, and some other older characters are at like a retirement home, and all of a sudden these guys pull up in their fucking like in their BMW or whatever it is, like hey old timers, what's going on? Like, hey, you kids, get off our goddamn lawn. He's like pull out of the lawn, start doing donuts on it.
Exactly, like Cloud, get on your motorcycle. It's like, my motorcycle's all broke down. I don't know if I can pull it back out. It comes out like,
oh, come on, old man. Come on, old man Strife. Used to be such a hard ass. Like, no, but I lost my woman. Like, yeah, you're always on about how you lost your woman. Whatever. Sword through this gut. Whatever. Live stream bullshit.
Yeah. Well, as this game goes on, yeah, it starts to feel more and more like a Final Fantasy, and you just start seeing things in it. And what it really reminds me of is actually it reminds me of a combination between 6, 7, and 8. Now, it has other things in it too, but there's a lot of stuff from those 3 games, like that feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's sort of got the modernness to it, and it's kind of cool because it's got, they got the Magitech armors, which are kind of like from Final Fantasy 6, where it's pretty much just ginormous Metal Gear robot-looking things that are powered by magic.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, once I saw that, it's like, oh, that's badass.
They actually does it go by the same name as it did in that one?
Yeah, they call it Magitech armors, which is cool.
Okay, so that is a throwback.
So yeah, so there is kind of these things, and then as time goes on too, I realized it's like, oh, this is kind of a neat feature. Like at all the local shops, you can buy like Final Fantasy soundtracks for your car, and then eventually you get like an MP3 player so you can play them all the time. So it is kind of neat that you can kind of give the feel of like, oh, you know what, I'm going to throw on Final Fantasy 9 soundtrack and fucking listen to that. Oh, that's pretty sweet. And then you can flip through. And so far I've been going around just trying to collect them all. It's like that almost became like a goal in itself. Like, okay, I'm at the fucking local like shop. What soundtrack you got? Oh, you got Final Fantasy Type 0? Fuck, I don't want to. Okay, whatever. Looking for a Final Fantasy 4 or 5 soundtrack.
Just some off-the-wall, like, weird side one, like, Crystal Chronicles from the GameCube. Just like, what the
fuck? I was kind of wondering if those ones were going to appear, because they've had a cut. You get all the numbered ones. They have, like, Dissidia 1 and 2, I found. They had Final Fantasy Type O. What else did they have?
Don't know what that is.
It was one of those Final Fantasies that came out, like, on PSP in Japan. For some reason, it didn't come to the US, and then they put it on PS4.
I'm pretty Final Fantasy ignorant.
Final Fantasy is what I call it. That's literally like what the father who like beats his son calls it. Are you playing that Final Fantasy again?
It's fantasy, Dad. Yeah, gay fantasy.
Yeah.
Fairs like you.
You know, back in my day,
Join the goddamn football team.
next thing you know, you would open up a fucking back room closet at the school and you'd see two people dressed up as hobbits fucking each other. That's probably what you're doing. But
It's a gateway drug. I seen the PSAs.
but I'm kind of wondering, okay, since they had those once, I'm starting to, in my head, I'm like, I wonder what other kind of like offshoot Final Fantasy games are they going to have, you know? Like, are they going to have the Tactics soundtrack? Because that doesn't feel like that's that far off. I know that game is technically like a spin-off, but to me, that always felt like that was like a big deal Final Fantasy at the same time. And then there's other random ones too. It's like, will they have Mystic Quest? Will that be on there, you know? Or would they have the ones that I'm probably sure that they might not have is sometimes the real Nintendo ones, like Crystal Chronicles and the Tactics ones on DS and Game Boy Advance. I'm not too sure if there might be some weird like Nintendo loophole involved in those. Now I know that the other ones are 1 through 6 are still Nintendo, but you know, over time, I think Square has all the rights. So maybe they have all the rights to the other ones too. So who knows?
I'm just out of curiosity. As someone, because you know me. I mean, I know of Final Fantasy. I know certain games, but is this one where you think I would probably be able to jump in and enjoy it, or is it kind of like would there still be kind of a weird barrier for me? You think?
No, I think this is the perfect one. I mean,
or other people like.
when that game literally starts up, the first thing it says before you even get to the start menu is it goes, a Final Fantasy game for longtime fans and first-time comers. Like, so I think they are trying to sell it that way. And the thing is there's nothing in that game that would throw you off. If you never played a single Final Fantasy in your life, you could jump into this and start enjoying it. But all the little things that they have in there, like I found the snake from Final Fantasy VII. You know the big, huge snake that swims around or is in the misty area?
Yeah.
That snake was in the game.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's like, that's fucking badass. And then also you start seeing classic other villains in there too. And it's just, those little things kind of put a smile on my face. And maybe they had those in 12 and 13. I just never, since I never played them, I never saw them. And even the online ones. But no, this game is,
You care enough to go back to the other ones?
Which ones?
The ones before this, like 13 and whatever.
Now that I've kind of gotten used to this battle system a bit, you know, because people have told me that 12 was always a really amazing one. And I know that was kind of the first one when I remember watching, I think John Bumgarner played. I'm like, you run around and it's not fucking turn-based, it's fucking gay. You know, this is probably like 14-year-old or 15-year-old. What time did that ever come out? Maybe 16.
No way. That was like, that had to be like late high school.
Well, it was PS2, and I think it was like 2004 or 5. Okay, so it was like probably about, I'm going to say somewhere, give or take, dead center high school. Because it was still before Wii and things like that came out, and Xbox 360, so and PS3. So I know it's got to be at least 2005. But I remember just kind of going like, oh, man, but, you know, over time, it's kind of like, well, you know what? Maybe should just give that one a go. And I think they have a collection coming out for PS4 and Xbox One of the Final Fantasy 13, like all three of them put into one and like kind of updated. And it's like, well, you know, that might be the time to jump into it and go, what the hey? You know, give it a go, see what it's all about. Because, you know, I've heard mixed things on it. Some people fucking hated the games, and some people actually said they're pretty good. So I think it just depends how much of a shield people have up before entering it.
Yeah. I get you.
But no, 15, I kid you not. If you want a really sweet game and you're kind of like, man, I'm kind of bored of like what I got, I don't know. This game is really fucking awesome. Now, and I think,
do you leave Jimmy Olsen at the side of the road at any point? That the photographer
character? He gets fucking thrown off a train at one point. You're like, oh fuck.
Awesome.
And cool. I'm on the search right now for him, and I have yet to find him yet. It's kind of like a horror party.
Wouldn't that be one of those things like you just kind of wish, like, you know, well, he's a main character, we got to carry on with the story. Like, you think like the way how games are so open and you give you the option, like, nah, fuck him, just keep going.
No, this game, once you start getting, I don't know if it's to about the halfway point or wherever the fuck I'm at. I feel like if it was a disc and there was 4 discs in this game, like an old Final Fantasy, I feel like I'm somewhere near the end of disc 2. That's how it feels. I'm not too sure if that is the case, but that's what it feels like. And the game starts to get fucking, you know, it's like ballsy shit starts to happen so much so it's like I won't even spoil it because it's like, oh, fuck, this thing starts going dark places, you know, left and right, and, you know, shit starts happening and so on.
When you say that you're kind of a horror part of the game, is it more of like, okay, we're in a dark, like, dank area with monsters running around? Or since it's this whole Route 66 thing, do they incorporate, like, creepy serial killer hillbillies or anything like that?
Okay, well, this part here, let me before I
half and half thing maybe.
As this game progresses on, see, I only saw the Route 66 part. It actually starts to go like once the map starts opening up, you actually go to another area, which almost reminds me of like Yosemite. It's kind of cool. That's how it starts to
Oh, that's
look.
cool.
And then also it has elements. It reminds me of Utah, and almost like the game almost feels like it could take place in like between the Four Corner states.
Uh-huh.
But then you end up traveling to fucking other continents, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? That made the game even bigger because the map was already fucking huge as is. And then one of the other continents I was at, it was pretty much kind of like Europe style. It looked like you were almost in like Italy or stuff like that. In Venice, that's how it kind of looked. So that was pretty neat. And then now I'm on another continent that has, it looks like a mix between Africa and if Africa had ginormous snow mountains. So picture sort of like deserty jungle kind of area. And then in like the background, there's these humongous snow mountains. It's kind of a cool look.
Oh, yeah.
So far I've been there on this part, and when it gets to the horror part, what happened now is now I'm all by myself, so there's nobody else with me. I'm looking for Jimmy Olsen, and it's kind of they got these like monster creatures that are sort of possessed, and you don't have any of your weapons, but you got this ring that has it has holy magic and death and something else on it. I can't remember what the fuck else it does. So there's these like, kind of creatures that are coming out and jumping on you. And at least the upside is it's like, first I'm like, oh fuck, is this gonna be one of these parts that's just gonna be like really difficult if you get caught by it? But then you realize it's like, nope, you can just sit there and hold your death thing until they finally die. And even if they attack you a couple times, big whoop, whatever.
Oh, okay.
So that's okay though. I like it more that way than having it be like, oh fuck, when the creature catches you, that's it. If it was that, I would have been pissed.
I was kind of hoping for some like back road, like sort of like Final Fantasy hillbilly character, like I don't know, just some weird. I'm just kind of curious to know what that would look like.
No, that would be pretty sweet if there was, but so far there hasn't been. Yeah,
Like
no.
you want to be too stylized at the same time, I mean, who knows? They probably wouldn't put him in a wife beater. They probably put him in a nice button down, but they probably have a very stylized earring and some hair like gelled back into a pompadour.
Yeah, maybe like one sleeve was kind of like torn off or something.
Maybe, yeah.
That always seems like the Final Fantasy thing is to have like each side not be the same.
I'm trying to think because they reached that point. I mean, this one look from what I've seen, it looks like they toned back a little bit. They still look a bunch of fashion models, but I want to say it was like
there's a part where Jimmy Olsen, I got just because you said fashion models. There's a part where you get to like this lighthouse and Jimmy Olsen's always like, oh, I want to go take a picture over there. You want to take a picture? And I realized at first I was like, no, go fuck yourself, Jimmy Olsen. Like I don't want to take a goddamn picture. But then I realized you get experience from it, so I'm like, oh okay, I'll go take the fucking picture now. And he's like, there's wind blowing. Our hair will be all nice and blowing in the wind. We'll look like fashion models. And I was like, oh, fucking Jimmy Olsen. Fucking Jimmy.
Why?
It's weird because it's like, there's almost like, the main character's, he's totally fine. He's kind of, he has that kind of Cloud personality from Advent Children. And maybe
angsty, kind of like as soon as he finds out something happened. Like this is not just Final Fantasy. This is a lot of like Japanese animes and whatnot. As soon as like something bad happens or he has some revelation, that thing where he winces his eyes, just slams his fist like I wasn't strong enough, like that type of shit.
Yeah, stuff like that. He's like, oh, I gotta become king now. There's a lot of weight put on my shoulders, like that kind of like thing. Not like he's like. Some people might say, oh, well, that seems kind of emo. I wouldn't really say that. More just like he's got a lot on his mind and he's kind of like a more calm, collective character. They kind of balance out. Like everybody's almost like a stereotype. But then, you got your big, strong guy who's like, I fucking love camping. Camping is the greatest. And killing. And fucking.
I wish they had like, what if they just like out of nowhere? Because they always are some kind of stereotype you see in a JRPG. What if out of nowhere they just dropped in the '90s like California, like whoa, like character? Like what if they fucking threw like I don't know the Final Fantasy equivalent to Poochie in there?
Well, strange.
Like, oh, hey, bro, I'm king now. How about that? We got to go on an adventure, man.
No, that'd be kind of funny. What's actually another weird thing?
Let's skateboard there with our helmets on.
Yeah,
looking fashionable and safe.
Yeah. This sounds weird, but that kind of reminds me of Pokemon. Whenever you ride in the latest one, Moon and Sun, whenever you ride a Pokemon, you always put on this stupid looking like safety uniform where it's like you got a helmet on and you got like kind of like a bicycle jumpsuit with like elbow pads and knee pads. It looks so fucking gay. And if you run into somebody battling with it, it's like, oh, fuck, they got to see me wearing this stupid outfit. I know it's a video game, but I feel shamed wearing it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm being... Granted, these guys can bike faster and better than me, but most of the time, whenever I see some dude in like a, like full body spandex gear, like aerodynamic thing for riding a bicycle, and they got some like, $5,000 bike. I don't know. I just something about me just doesn't like that guy. Just something about me doesn't. Now maybe if he's like training or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's trying to go into the competition, then maybe I got no real good excuse. But I know a lot of it just I don't know. Maybe because a lot of the times those guys ride like assholes anyway. So
Well,
I
it's
don't
one
know.
of those weird things. It's like, okay, I know that outfit definitely probably there's a reason why it's invented that way. Like it probably does work better, but
Makes
something
you more aerodynamic
something
and
about people that ride bicycles, like I think they just like a bicycle is one of the greatest fucking inventions of all time. Yet a lot of times the people's attitude that really ride bikes are like such douchebags. Or the other thing that bothers me too is like you watch people ride them like on the stupidest fucking roads. Like they'll ride it like on a main highway, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? There's 1,000 neighborhoods you could go riding through. Why the fuck are you riding the highway? Now here's my only exception. That poor bastard, that's the only vehicle he owns, but you can always tell that guy from these douchebags in their riding uniforms, because the poor bastard who this is all he has and he has to ride on it to work, he's just wearing regular clothes or work clothes or something like that. You can tell who that guy is. That guy's okay,
yeah,
because
yeah.
that's all he's got, so I understand. But you get just the people who are like, I'm out here doing it for exercise, so I'm going to run, or I'm going to ride my bike on, the street where everybody's going 70 miles per hour up and down, and there's blind corners. And you're like,
No, because a lot of times I'll ride by, like there'll be like a stampede of them, like a stampede just coming by and around, and whenever they go by, I always hear like keywords. I don't exactly hear the conversation, but I hear keywords: trade, stock value, timeshare,
yeah, you know exactly who these people are.
Schwinn,
Once again, yeah,
grade.
Schwinn is great, stocks are great, bikes are great, but when the attitude gets all mixed and jumbled together, something about it becomes just a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it
and
is.
and maybe it's just like that suit just makes me just go like, you ain't a fucking superhero. What are you doing?
That's what you want. For most people, it's like, you'd probably be better off actually training in regular clothes anyways and just put the suit on when you actually do a competition. You know what I mean?
Maybe it's just one of those things. Like I'm just hoping we don't have like. Turns out we do have a couple of followers that are major bike enthusiasts. Like, fuck Ryan. What's he fucking know?
So, well, once again, I'm not saying anything against the bike itself, because I love bicycles. You know what I mean? I haven't rode mine in a long time, but I love the fucking bike. I think if I could ride mine everywhere, I would.
I'm not saying I ride a whole lot, but I have friends that ride bikes and they're okay. They're not all bad.
But it's just that, you just see those people and it's just kind of like, geez, like, did you not think when you got up this morning that your brain just fucking like go right into the oven and then you decided to start like acting on it? Like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, so you wear a stupid outfit in Pokemon.
Final Fantasy 15, fucking awesome. So far, no bikes, but there is chocobos.
So you have a stupid outfit in Pokemon you got to wear whenever you ride a bike?
Well, you actually don't get a bike in that game, strangely enough. But whenever you ride, like, because they did the smart thing where, instead of having like a Pokemon that has fly and strength and swim and surf and all that stuff, where you're like, fuck, I gotta use one of those moves and have some.
There are services that do that. There's services.
They're just services, which is nice because it keeps your Pokemon all totally free for fighting, which is one of the smartest ideas I've seen in a while in Pokemon. But yeah, you got to wear a stupid suit whenever you ride one of them, which almost makes it not worth riding them unless you really have to.
It's not like it's one of the. I bet it's probably some kind of safe. We want to teach kids to be safe, so we can't show Ash on a bike. We can't show Ash on a bike without a helmet or knee pads.
Yeah, I think that's literally what it is this day and age.
Well, it's like I'm surprised. I mean, granted, it wasn't really aiming at like little kids. It was definitely aimed at our generation. I'm surprised they didn't try and push more helmets in the Tony Hawk games, because you'd always see like Tony Hawk or Chad Muska or whatever just riding a bike, riding a skateboard. But then when they hit the ground, just a big bunch of blood just right out of their mouth as soon as they hit the ground. They just get back up and ride.
I remember that was it sounds weird, but when Tony Hawk first came out, that was kind of like a thing that parents kind of complained about. They're like, oh, what the fuck? Like he falls down and blood goes everywhere. Because once again, we were at a time period where there wasn't a ton of games that had blood in it. So the fact that this teen-rated game had blood in it was like, well, what the fuck? And it's like, no, it's just there. It's just whatever, aesthetic.
Trying to let kids know what happens when you fall face first in a pavement.
Yeah, without a helmet on after you've just done a 900.
Mm-hmm.
But this is actually kind of another weird thing I noticed in Final Fantasy 15. You can go camping at these places, Which is kind of an interesting thing. I kind of thought about it. At first, it seemed so weird. It's like camping. Why the fuck? I'm like, oh, well, duh. In every Final Fantasy game, you'd always use like a tent when you're out in like the wild to like, heal yourself back up. So it makes sense to actually just go full on like, oh yeah, here they are setting up their camping tent and everything like that. But I noticed I'm like, oh, all the camping stuff's brought to you by Coleman.
I heard something about that. Yeah,
it's like
you get the Coleman grill at some point.
Yeah, Coleman stuff's cool, but it almost took me out just a little bit of Final Fantasy. It's like, oh, that's fucking weird. Like, boy, it just seems so. I don't know. I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not gonna complain, but like, it did for a second kind of pull me out of the game. Like, it's like I fucking saw a billboard for like Budweiser somewhere in there. No, I didn't actually see that, but
really?
That's how it felt.
I was gonna say, like, well, Coleman, because you are clearly in another world, so that's the thing about it. And like the thing about Coleman, I'm wondering if you actually went over to like whatever big box store and went to the camping section, would they have a bunch of like $5 off your purchase of Final Fantasy 15 or something like that?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like, because I will say at the same time, generally people that are probably playing video games, and probably especially people that are playing video games like Final Fantasy, probably really don't go camping. So I'm kind of trying...
No, they probably don't.
I'm really trying to wonder who that is marketed towards. I'll say this. If you put Coleman stuff in a Call of Duty game, I think that would make sense, because probably about half your audience there goes camping. But the people that probably play Final Fantasy, I'm going to say like maybe like 10%, if not less, go camping.
I think that's a fair assumption.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's a weird place to do it.
I know for a little while they were selling like Final Fantasy, like this is definitely when Hot Topic was in its main swing, but I remember they were selling like Final Fantasy themed drinks like Phoenix Downs, elixirs, and they're probably just overly sugary, just like
off-brand Red
Bulls and Tang probably. But I remember that was the thing. People would buy it, just like, oh, Sonic, I got a Phoenix Down. Like, I remember, I can't talk too much shit on them because they had a Mario one. They had a Mario one that was like Power Up. I remember I bought one to taste it. The other, just as a collector's item, was just basically a Red Bull sized can. It was blue. Had Mario jumping on it, like a traditional looking, like old school Mario, and said Power Up on it.
Yeah, I remember those.
It tasted just like a Red Bull. Just like a Red Bull. I mean, I wouldn't surprise you if I peeled the sticker and there's a Red Bull logo under it.
Yeah, exactly. If you looked in like the fine print and it said, from the Red Bull manufacturer.
And in tiny, tiny, tiny print, right below Mario, it says, not recommended for children.
Which is funny.
Because he's right by all the mushroom candy and all that, It'd
be funny if it was just like a bag of mushrooms. It's like, here you go. Just what Mario would have. Just this big mushroom you just start like chewing on. Like, oh, I feel fucking weird. Yeah, you do. No, realistically, I think that Final Fantasy 15, if you want like a sweet game, now it definitely is a game that it looks like it's going to take some time. I mean, Final Fantasies are kind of like, you're generally guaranteed to spend at least 50 plus hours in one of those games, So I'm assuming it's a long one, but man, is it cool. And the graphics are fucking gorgeous. I mean, really the only thing that I can really complain about now after going through everything, at the end of the day, it still would be a little bit more fun if it was turn-based. The battle system, it's not bad. I've gotten used to it. It's still not amazing, but it's not bad. I had to kind of rearrange the controls a bit.
Everything else kind of outweighs it, though?
Yeah, everything else definitely outweighs it. And after a while, the battle system's not bad. I mean, this is how I kind of came to the conclusion. It's sort of like playing Dynasty Warriors, Final Fantasy style. And I like Dynasty Warriors. Now, it doesn't play nearly as good as Dynasty Warriors, but I would say that's about the equivalent of kind of what it is. And once you kind of get used to it like that, you're like, okay, it's not so bad. And, you start figuring out, how to do all your different moves and tactics and so on. And it becomes something of itself, Sometimes the camera gets kind of a little bit wonky, and next thing you know, you fucking the camera's behind a tree, and you're getting like raped by like 6 enemies at once, so you have no idea what's going on. But for the most part,
well, I guess that's one that's what I might put on the list, because I do really want a new game, but nothing's really been jumping out at me. Like smaller little, like Samurai Showdown, like small little, like 20 to 50.
Oh, did you get the Samurai Showdown one that came out?
I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet, but I downloaded it just like this morning.
When I saw that come up, it was right at the point I was like, fuck, I don't want to spend any more money, but oh, dude, a Samurai Showdown collection. And I bought it, and actually what it is, it's one of the PS2 version. I thought it was actually like a brand new PSN combination of everything. But it's like the PS2 one, which isn't a bad thing because it has like fucking 40 characters or something in it.
Well, I have 0 Samurai Showdown games, so I'd be fine with any of them.
Well, no, it's a real sweet version, because I was just used to, I had like the one on Sega Genesis, which strangely enough, that was actually a really good port. it was like, it was up there with like Street Fighter 2 and like how good that game actually played
Mhm.
on, Genesis. But no, this Samurai Showdown one, that was really cool. But here's another game that I actually got like 2 days ago. It came out, and I kind of heard about it before, and I was like, damn it, I don't really want to spend more money, but fuck it. It's called Mother Russia Bleeds.
I saw that title card somewhere.
And then the way that the game even in its description, it was like, it's like if we combined Streets of Rage with like the violence of a Hotline Miami. I'm like, well, fuck, that's two of my favorite games. I kind of want another game that me and Laura could play, and beat 'em up games always work real well for it. That game's fucking awesome. Like, it is one of the, it's like the best beat 'em up game I've played since Scott Pilgrim.
Oh, okay.
And plus, just the fact is, like, actually, I don't think I've ever played a beat 'em up game that's like that violent, where you can like literally like go up and just start grabbing like fucking hobos and like.
Is it like just set like it's
and,
just set like in the ghetto of Russia, or is it what is it exactly?
You're like in this gulag, and you wake up and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And there's like these like scientists experimenting on you. So you start breaking out of there and everything like that, and you start realizing that like, oh fuck, there's where are we at? We're in this prison thing, which in a sense it's like that sounds like the most smartest idea. Like where's the best place to put a beat 'em up game? A prison. That seems like the perfect area to have stuff. I don't know why. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen a game that took place in a prison that was a beat 'em up one. Can you think of one?
Nothing comes to mind. I can think of the prison level, but not like the actual game.
Well, the whole game doesn't take place in just the prison, but that's where you start. That's like the first 2 levels or so.
Sonic Adventure too.
But that's not a beat 'em up game.
Well, I'm just saying a game in general with a
Oh
prison.
yeah. Well, yeah. I know. There's games that take place in prison.
A beat 'em up though. A beat 'em up though. No, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like there, but the way the game plays is just really cool. I mean, it's like your standard, beat 'em up where you got your light punch, heavy attack, grab, and so on. But then they add elements to it, like when somebody falls on the ground, you can just start punching the living daylights out of their face on there. And then if you hold square, you'll take your fist up in the air and smash down their head until it actually blows up.
That's pretty awesome. Does that have the whole like? Does the whole like 16-bit look going, or is it actually all modern?
It looks like it's a Super Nintendo game, I'd probably say. Maybe
like that. Those are the kind of games I've been kind of getting lately. I haven't really got a big AAA title in a while. It's all been kind of small little $15 to $25 games, kind of like that. Not that one in particular.
Well, it sounds weird. Like I was thinking just the other in the last couple of weeks, I'm like, on the PlayStation 2 / Xbox One generation, I was kind of thinking, I'm like, there's a lot of good games I played, but as far as like the main, your big disc-based games go, I'm like, there's only a handful that like really stood out to me. I was like, oh fuck, that's an amazing game. I'm not saying that there's a lot of them that were they were good and they were fun, but that's kind of about all they were. But when it comes down to like those indie games, there's actually, I'd almost say, more of those games that I think were a little bit more legendary than a lot of like the big games that came out that just kind of felt like same old same old. They're good, they were fun, but they didn't feel like almost how this game feels. Even though this game's like an old style, it feels like I'm still doing something brand new.
We'll have to look that one up because I remember seeing the title card for it, so I'll check that one out.
Yeah, either that or next time you come over, it's the perfect, like, you could play 4 players on it. So it's totally awesome. And I like the violence and stuff too. Like, you get your weapons and everything like that, so you can like take a baseball bat and bust somebody's head in, or you get like shanks where you like stab guys, or you pick up guns, everything like that. I just love the over-the-top violence, and it's got this like very like dark nature in it, similar to like Hotline Miami. Like, they weren't kidding. There's like Streets of Rage meets Hotline Miami. That's perfect way to sell it, but it still feels fresh in itself.
What to buy with Spencer Scott Holmes?
Let me tell you what I bought this week, and yeah, that's exactly it.
Well, I've been just kind of still kind of in just the same kind of routine and just mainly like just working a lot and that kind of stuff. But luckily, a lot of trailers came out, and that's what kind of caught a lot of my attention. Did you see the second Guardians of the Galaxy trailer?
I did not. I thought you would just explain all these to me.
Okay, well, gather around. It's story time.
I was going to be Scott Mosher and just listen to like what you have to say. It sounds weird, but
straight off, because it's one of those things like for like video games, like, dude, I just got this game, and this happens, that happens. I'm like, okay, I saw this trailer. I didn't see the movie yet, but I saw the trailer.
I saw the poor man's version of it. I don't know what it is. It sounds weird, but like trailers still, like when they come out on the internet, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. I don't know. I'd rather see them in the movie theater. I feel like I enjoy that much more when it's like, oh, fuck, what's this? Oh, is this a fucking Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer? Oh, fuck, that's awesome. When you see it on, like, a phone or on the computer, it's like, it's okay, but it just doesn't have that same, like, oh, fuck, I mean, I knew this was coming out, but I didn't realize they had the trailer ready already.
I mean, I'll watch it. It's one of those things I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what it was. I can't remember the last time I went into a movie theater and just saw a trailer like, oh, this is coming out. Because it's one of those things like that we know up to date. Like this movie's being filmed. They're this far into the shoots. Oh, now they're in post production or whatever. So it's one of those things like it's not a big surprise when the trailer comes out, and chances are you see it on your phone or on YouTube or whatever before you even go to the movie theater. So
See, for me, this there's movies that still surprise me. Now, it's not ones like, oh, okay, I know there's Spider-Man coming out. It's more like ones like when the Allied trailer came out. Like, I didn't fucking know that was coming out. I mean, I guess if I was looking up on IMDb every single day, I might have known about it. But when it came in the theaters, like, oh, whoa, this looks fucking amazing. I gotta go see that. Or that Ben Affleck movie that's coming out soon, the mobster one.
Yeah,
Those are the movies that like I see and you're like, oh fuck, that looks awesome.
funny thing about that. I never told you this 'cause it's not a big deal. But when you sent me a text, like, have you seen the trailer for the Ben Affleck mobster movie? You misspelt it. You put monster. You said a
Oh, did I?
20s, a 1920s monster movie. I
Well,
was
that
like,
sounds
oh.
badass too.
And I was like, oh, fuck. And then, like, when I went to go see The Accountant, I saw the trailer. I'm like, this must be the movie he's talking about. What's the fucking monster? And I'm watching. I'm just like, oh, it's a mobster movie. Okay.
So that probably let you down a little bit because that sounds actually badass. The 1920s.
I'd rather see a 1920s monster movie directed by Ben Affleck. I'd rather see that. But I'm glad. So my hopes jump up.
I set the bar way too high for that one, I guess.
Yeah, but it's all good because he'll be doing Batman. And after seeing like The Town and Argo and Gone Baby Gone, I know he can do that. But anyway, I'm sure this movie will still be in that same ballpark. But as far as shit, what was I gonna say? Blah 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 blah. Fuck, what was I saying? It was some. Oh yeah. Well, I feel like it's one of those things. Like if it's like, let me put it this way: if it's a property that everyone knows, like if everyone knows, like people know what Ghost in the Shell is, people know what.
Well, for the most part, people that know
not
anime.
everybody, but people know about it. People know about it. It has a big enough fan basis. People know about it. Enough people to be like, they're making a movie. When's it being shot? So then you like cell phone footage of like the sets or whatever pop up here and there, which I try to avoid those, but I'll see that shit every so often. And the movie, but then like the trailer comes out, it's no big surprise. I can't remember the last time I went to a movie theater and was surprised to see a trailer for a movie, be like, oh, what the fuck is this? This is coming out? And I mean something that's like not like
a property of some sort.
A pre-existing property, or something by like Tarantino or like a well-established director. Because Zemeckis, he's a pretty big director, but it's not like, I mean, don't take this the wrong way. He's a fantastic director, but he's not like, people don't ask. It's not like, when's the next Tarantino movie coming out? When's the next Christopher Nolan movie coming out? I think mainly because he did that whole little like CG land period of his life.
Well, I think that it's like, here's the thing: is like Robert Zemeckis made one of the biggest movies of all time, Back to the Future, but past, I mean, and then he had some other big ones too, like Forrest Gump and Roger Rabbit, and there was a period where he was he was that humongous director, but I think after Castaway, because Castaway was kind of like the last really big movie he did, then he just did like, he did 10 years of just like weird CG movies that, it's not that they were bad, but they were just kind of like, it threw people off, and he was just kind of stuck in CG land with Brendan Fraser and George Lucas, and they were all living in fucking Tron world. And once he finally, I think he came back out of CG land, he started making movies that were like regular movies again, and I think he's kind of coming back. And I think, Allied was a big one, and then he also did Flight with Denzel, even though I didn't get to see that one, but I know that people seem to really like that one a lot. So I think he's bringing his way back. But it's not like if there was a Back to the Future 4 trailer that fucking dropped on you.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. I think that like with Zemeckis, you can kind of see the evolution, because I don't know everything he did beforehand, but he did like the Back to the Future trilogy. Then I don't know, was Forrest Gump or Roger Rabbit next?
It was Roger Rabbit, because that's like 1990. It's like, I almost want to say he might have done that one in between Back to the Future 2 and 3. Because I want to say Back to the Future 3 is 1990. Maybe Roger Rabbit's 89. Or it's 91. Whatever. They're right around at the same time. So he had that.
He works his way into Back to the Future. And then, no, he works his way to Roger Rabbit. And he's just like, wow, you know what I really like about this movie? What? Not as many real fucking actors. Fucking cartoons. Cartoons aren't gonna fucking talk back to me. That shit's awesome.
Yeah,
Makes
so in Forrest Gump, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use pre-existing footage of history so I don't have to talk to that many actors.
There's that. Yeah, he used a lot of pre-existing footage, and he's like, you know what? I don't like actors, but I like this Tom guy.
Yeah, Tom Hanks, good guy. Let's put him together by himself in a movie.
Yeah, let's get him. What's he going to interact with? A fucking ball. Is it going to talk in a cartoony way? Maybe. I have to think about it. But I thought all we really got to do is just get him on a ball on an island. We'll make it fucking happen. And then what's the next step? Tom Hanks like playing 8 different characters in like fucking Polar Express.
Yeah, with Steven
entirely
Tyler.
CG movie. Who was Steven? Oh yeah,
He's like
Steven
the Elf
Tyler was
King
the
or
elf.
whatever.
The elf's like Merry Christmas coming out, and I forgot about that shit.
That was like I remember because as a kid when that movie came out, or a kid or whatever it was, teen, when that movie came out, that was like the big deal. It was like, oh, it's got fucking Steven Tyler in it. That's fucking badass.
Funny thing about that movie, and this kind of like it shows that sometimes you always can't snatch that whimsy, even if you are at the right age for it. But you know, when I was a little kid, that was the book my mom always read to me around Christmas time when I was a really little kid.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, she doesn't want to go to the movies all the time, but she'll get that kind of like she'll be like, oh, that'll be a nice family movie to go see. Or like, oh, let's go see Star Wars. We took you to see Star Wars when you were a kid, and this and that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll happen. Even though she didn't like Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, she still went to go see Revenge of the Sith and the other ones, hoping, you know, they'd be better, and she liked them more as they went on. But it'd be one of those things like nostalgia would almost outweigh that. So when Polar Express came out, there's a trailer, and she's like, you really want to go see that? I'm like, not really. Yeah, me neither. Like this thing, it was like the Christmas tradition to read this book like every Christmas when I was a little kid, and just like, the movie's coming out. Like, you know, I don't give a shit. Yeah, neither do I.
Tell you the truth, I fucking hated that book. Oh, I just read it to you because you fucking liked it.
I just never took the time to tell you, Mom. I didn't want to hurt your feelings.
No, I was thinking more she said that to you.
Oh.
I think that's funnier that way.
That is much funnier, actually.
But did you ever see that movie at all?
I saw it, yeah. I want to say we rented it one time for my nephews, and I watched it with them. And I remember Tom Hanks voicing like 9 people or something. Like he voiced the conductor, voiced some of the random people that comes in. I think he voiced the parents. He was the narrator.
Yeah.
He like at some point there's this part where the kids fall into like some kind of like it's because of the story. It's not really there's a lot going on in it. There's like it's really just like
it's like 30 pages.
It's 30 pages of kids getting onto a train in kind of like a magical dream scenario of like, oh, we get to go to the North Pole. Yay! Oh, that was fun. Yeah, wake up in the morning. Oh, I lost my bell. Oh, fuck, I got it back. You know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, how much can you, I'm going to say it was better than I thought it was going to be. It wasn't like a movie I feel the urge to go watch again. I remember the kids were unsettling. The way they looked was very unsettling.
See, that kind of stuff actually doesn't bother me. Strangely enough, as somebody who's not the biggest fan of CG, I never had a problem with that kind of really realistic looking CG. Like, I know some people find that uncanny. That I don't know. It doesn't faze me. But maybe I'm the kind of person I'm comfortable with like robots. I always make the joke that I'm the kind of person who would invest in Skynet. I like robots that much.
Look, 7 billion might die, but long-term goals, stretch goals.
See, Terminators, that is considered the dark age of Transformers. I'm just pointing it out. You don't get the Transformers without Terminator.
It's a building process.
Yeah, see? To get to like the good, you need to get to the Renaissance, which would be, you know, the start of the Transformers. We have to go to the Dark Age, which we have just a bunch of robots that kill each other and kill everything else that lives.
Well, this was, that right there, going back to the way they look, it wasn't like it killed it for me. It was just they looked unsettling. It wasn't even so much the adults. It was like the kids, because the adults, since they're a little older, they're able to put more wrinkles and whatnot on them, just give them a little bit more character. All the kids were all like, you know, big-eyed, like
smooth,
almost looking little mannequin. Like, the way you say that, They were smooth.
Smooth.
in their little PJs, oh, their teddy bears. No, with the weird little bottom flaps.
Yeah, exactly. But that's I mean like sometimes a child. I think that's the thing is a child in CG almost has this like yeah they don't have the wrinkles or like the definition and all this stuff that an adult has, so they just look like this almost animatronic looking robot kind of coming at you.
That's why I think that's why like when it comes to like CG animated stuff, that's why monsters and sound fucked up. That's why monsters and old people usually look pretty good because there's a lot more things they can do with them and add to them. Where if you got someone that's meant to be young and good looking or a little kid, then it looks like well they look too that looks like a mannequin. That looks like a doll, you know?
Yeah, well, it's that sort of thing. It's like kind of like when you watch a movie, and they call it a live action movie, but when you really break it down, you're like, technically this movie's technically a cartoon movie that just happens to have, a handful of real people in it. I mean, like lots of movies too are like that. And I think at the end of the day, it's just the thing that a car, a building, a background, a monster, a planet, all this stuff can be CG, in a sense, look 98% realistic. Where the only thing that just does not look all the way there yet is a human being at least up close. I mean, far away, they can kind of get away with it. But, anything from like a medium shot to close shot, you got to sort of have, unless you're selling the movie as a CG movie, it's got to be, that's where you put the live action actor in there.
I think that's why Pixar stuff looks so good is because, in other Disney stuff, is because they make it,
cartoony.
They make the characters look cartoony enough. So it's not so much the detail of like, their skin. It's probably more of like the weird little like subtle nuances of like like I was watching Zootopia the other day, like the way like the ears might flick or the tail might slightly wag a little bit or that kind of thing,
Yeah, exactly. There's things like that. But I guess getting back to that Guardians of the Galaxy trailer, what happens in that bad boy?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things like I could sit here and just because here's the honest truth about like reciting a trailer if only one person's seen it. It's gonna sound like an 8-year-old kid explaining to his dad what his favorite cartoon is before he's dropped off at school. That's what it's gonna sound like. And then they jump at the octopus with the swords out, and then Groot says, "I am Groot," and then he runs off with the bomb, and then they start playing the Uka Chaka song, and that's gonna sound like that. So I'm not gonna go deep into the trailer. It's basically, it looks like, and I mean this in the best way possible, it looks like more of the same. They're playing that, what's the song? It's that like I'm trying to remember the name of this. I got the beat in my head, but I'm trying to remember the lyrics. It's like basically a lot of explosions, a lot of gunfiring, a lot of crazy colors. At some point, you see them fighting this giant pink octopus thing with a lot of teeth. Little baby Groot, he's running around being adorable, attacking shit. Only slight concern is they try to milk the money out of him way too much, because you look at that, like, that thing is a stuffed animal. That's a toy. They're going to sell millions of those things.
Yeah, you're gonna have your stuffed Vin Diesel walking around all over the place.
And they still got Vin Diesel to do the voice. Apparently, they just lowered the pitch or heightened the pitch a lot. That's apparently all they did.
Now, here's the big important thing: do they show Kurt Russell?
They don't show Kurt Russell. They show the main. I'm kind of going off in my memory here.
Main five.
It's the main group, and fighting what look like some goons, which maybe they're bigger characters, but it's really, like I said, it's more the same, but it's a lot of really cool shots of the spaceships flying around. And there's a scene at the very beginning where you see Rocket. This is the one part I can kind of say because it's one of the few scenes. Rocket's talking to Baby Groot. He says like, "Okay, so you're gonna don't push this button right here. If you push this button, everybody dies. You push the other button, okay?" Then this is like, "Now say it again. What are you gonna do?" This is, "I am Groot." He's like, "No, that's the wrong button. That's the wrong button." He's like, "Say it again. What? Just you don't push that button. What's the button you push?" And then he says, "I am Groot. I am Groot," explaining. Rocket's like, kind of like the Ocean's 11 thing with the Chinese dude. And then he says, "I am Groot." Like, "No, wrong." So it's like kind of like, it's like I said, it's not funny when I say it, but when you see it, you'll know what I mean. So it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy 2, more the same, but I think that's kind of what people want.
No, and I think that works. And that's sort of the Marvel way right now at the moment, is kind of like, they're definitely not a company that goes, "Okay, you know how that movie did really good? Let's go a completely different direction on the next one." They've kind of generally stick
subtle changes.
Yeah,
Subtle changes.
they do subtle changes and they lightly build it over time, which I mean that works out totally fine. And I can't see changing too much in Guardians of the Galaxy. I think everything kind of worked, so why really mess with it yet? Mess with it once it starts to not be nearly as good, I guess, is what they can do.
The one part of another part of the trailer that really stood out was there's some alien lady who can touch people and hear what they're feeling and all that. And she touches Star-Lord. She's like, "Oh, you have a deep love." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I love a lot of people and care for a lot of people." "No, it's more of a lustful love." He just like stops for her over there. Points him at Gamora, and he says, "No, no, no. Yeah, it's a deep sexual love." And then all of a sudden, like Drax starts like totally breaks character, starts like laughing hysterically, like, oh, she embarrassed you. Like the last thing you expect Drax to do.
My only kind of slight concern, I wonder if they're gonna do the thing. They're like, you know what, the comedy was so good, let's amp the fuck out of that.
I thought the first one had a lot of comedy.
Well, I thought the first one actually does have a lot of comedy, but I can see them. But they could still amp it up though. They could do it where instead of a comedy line, maybe every 3 or 4 lines, where they're doing it every other line. Not saying, I mean, like, once again, I mean, I expect it to be a comedy, but hopefully they don't go, I guess, like
Iron Man 2 with it.
Sticky. You know what's strange? I actually just watched Iron Man 2 for the first time. I'd actually never seen that movie other than like bits and pieces of it.
Uh-huh.
I actually kind of like that one quite a bit, and I didn't actually find that one that comedy.
Wow, really?
Yeah, strange enough, I actually like that Iron Man probably more than all the other ones.
That's my least favorite That's my least favorite of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Is it really? I was surprised. I ended up enjoying it actually more than I thought I would.
You know what? Maybe because you thought you're gonna dislike it so much that when you actually watched it, you're just like, oh, it's not as bad.
Well, yeah, because I just watched like
not trying to say how your mind works.
I didn't feel like the comedy was too. I mean, it's there, but it's not like it was. I didn't feel like it was too intense. I felt like the action scenes were cool. Robert Downey Jr. wasn't really actually the only one I really find. I think that he's like a little bit too overdone is Avengers 1. I think that's the one where they almost
they double down on
it. They make him like he literally has like a joke every like 2 to 3 lines. Like he just can't say straight things in that movie. But in this one, I mean, it's like I actually was like, well, I was actually more impressed because I always heard that was kind of one of the weakest of the Marvel ones, and I was like, I really don't have a whole lot to complain with this one. I actually thought everything in it was about fine. I thought the action was good in it. I mean, I know that there's maybe in the beginning there's kind of like some like lighter action. There's still action throughout it, but there's maybe like I guess slightly lighter action scenes. I like Mickey Rourke's character a lot.
There's some good moments. Let me say, there's some good moments. It's not like a god awful movie. I mean, the worst Marvel movie is like, oh, it's all right, For me, it's one of those things where it was just kind of not a lot happened in the movie. It was this period of him just kind of hanging out. He's just like, I'm dying. What am I gonna do? I guess I'm just gonna party. I don't know. Maybe I'm just gonna because it was like one of those things. In my opinion, the second movie. I mean, I know maybe it's not Expendables. It's not like an Arnold movie or anything like that. But I think by the second one, you should be up and running, and you shouldn't take as much time for exposition and all that. And that one, it was like 30 minutes or something before we actually got our first real action scene. And like the action scene, even though it's cool,
I thought it started off with an action scene for some reason. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, like the part where he's in the race. That's like the 25.
Well, yeah, that one I know is there a little bit later on. I thought there was an action scene beforehand. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I don't think there is, but I may have to watch it again.
Like it wasn't like a big action scene. It was like a quick, like if there was an action scene,
like he flies down from a jet and then lands into a big like arena.
Maybe that's all it was.
Yeah, and then nothing for a while, and then he gets drunk at a party, and then War
Machine has to fight him.
War Machine's
that's literally like movie only. It's like, how do we stop this guy from his party? Well, somebody's just gonna beat the fucking shit out of him in another robot suit.
And that's one of those moments where they like. I mean, I get it. Sometimes there's bad, and there's like ways to kind of get it in there a little bit more subtly, and then there's those really forced ways. This one's like more the middle ground.
Well, that's like that part where he says you need to get an action scene in there
No, not that, not that. Just like that thing where they got to say the name of the character without actually saying "I am War Machine." It's just like it says, "Oh, so you want to be a War Machine, huh?" Says that to you, like something kind of like that.
Well, that
Or
movie,
it's
I
like
guess, wasn't that still like in the 2000s era? Like at that time period, I feel like that was
it came
still
out in 2010 or so.
okay. So
Yeah.
maybe it was just a tad bit later, but I guess
Or
it's still
or it's
riding
like
off that 2000s era where they always had to do that with characters.
even though I really like the Incredible Hulk movie, there's that part where he fits in the line, like, and I'm not expecting him to come out like I am the Abomination. But there's that part that's like it could turn you into an abomination. Oh fuck, he's gonna be Abomination. You know?
Yeah,
So, like, I don't know. It's like, and plus they never came back around to that guy because the guy who says that he's leader, the guy with the big swollen brain.
yeah,
In that movie has a part where some blood drips into a cut and you see his head starting to swell, and then it's like we don't know what happened to that guy. Like, oh, I guess he just got brain cancer.
yeah. Exactly. It never comes back around to that.
Yeah.
But
So that was the Guardians. So yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 trailer, kind of more of the same, but it looks good, it looks fun.
sounds sweet. Sounds like they'll play it probably during Star Wars. So that's what.
Oh, definitely.
So
Yeah.
I'll look forward to all these Marvel ones then probably.
Then they have the Spider-Man Homecoming trailer. You see that one?
No, I didn't see that. Once again, I just assumed that all these movies. See, this is the thing. What they should do is like, why don't they just save that till Star Wars comes out and just release them all that day? Like, just be like, fuck, it's Thursday. The movie's gonna play. We're gonna throw some trailers in front of it, and then if you happen to not go to the theater, then they'll be online. Like, instead, they always do it like a week or two early before like something big. It's like, why not? Why not just save it for like, you got Star Wars, probably Disney's one of their biggest events of the year. Why not just put it right with that?
Yeah, I don't know. They just like get it out there. It's not going to change pricing for it either way. But the other one, the Spider, it's not solely Disney. That one's also Sony. Like the way I understand it is apparently
It's a Sony movie, but with, or is it is Sony?
it's basically Disney made, Sony produced.
Yeah,
That's the
okay.
way I understand it. Like Columbia and Sony, like because it still has the Marvels. Because I noticed that like Disney is smart enough. You can say they're a bunch of evil pricks if you want, but the thing is they are smart enough to know that people sometimes roll their eyes when they see their logo. So they know not to put Walt Disney in front of Star Wars. They're going to put Lucasfilm, like that's its own division.
Yeah.
They're going to put Marvel Studios in front of Marvel stuff. They want to try and keep it separate from their other stuff, even though they have no problem saying, "Yep, Disney." I mean, I can see that even though I like them all, I can totally see the Disney fingerprint on all these movies. Because like, I'll get to Spider-Man in a second, but look at Guardians of the Galaxy. Put that movie in 2D, take out the swearing. That seems like it could be like a 90s Disney movie, like a 90s 2D Disney movie.
Well,
you know?
you technically already have that. There's a Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon show out there.
Yeah, but I mean, like in the aspect of like it kind of because Disney. I mean, whether you love them or hate them, something they're really good about doing is getting a lot of details and a lot of like character types, and kind of gets everything across with minimal dialogue about it. Like you kind of know everything you need to know about the character just from the way they look, just from the way they talk, small little things in the area. You know what I mean? It's like you don't need Shere Khan or not Shere Khan.
Shao. No, wait. I was just like
the
Shao.
the other
That's Mortal Kombat.
the other Mortal Kombat. Disney's Mortal Kombat. I'd watch that. No, the other cat, the other bad Scar.
Uh-huh.
You don't need to know anything about Scar. You don't need me. He has that whole Hitler song, basically. But when they're all doing the hyenas are doing the weird, like now as a little kid, like, why are they walking like that, Dad? Like, oh, that is a talk for another day.
Yeah, just like, Nazis, not the greatest thing for a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah, we'll get into that. Don't
By the
worry.
time you're 8, you'll be obsessed with it. Not like in a weird, like you're obsessed with Nazis, but you'll just have this World War II obsession that you and your friends can't explain.
Yeah. You know that movie Schindler's List we don't let you watch? I'll get back to you on that, okay? That's kind of what those hyenas are.
Yeah.
But there's it's kind of like they would it's all the small little details that a lot of Disney movies, primarily their cartoons, would just able to jam in there and you get across. And that's almost I see that in some Marvel movies, but I see that all over Guardians of the Galaxy. And even like I mean, I know that they're characters that existed for a while now, but even Rocket and Groot, they seem kind of like a Timon and Pumbaa kind of duo, you know?
No, they definitely really are in the Guardians of the Galaxy. They are like the wacky animal sidekicks.
Mm-hmm. And then, you got, and look, keep in mind, I know these are characters that have been around since like the 70s, but they have sort of this vibe to them that just comes across presented that way, kind of like a Disney movie. And I mean that in a good way, like one of the really well made movies. And I feel like that, throw in plus all the weird little quirky stuff. Like that movie's almost a musical to a certain extent with all just the 70s pop numbers they just drop in there.
No, that's definitely true there.
But as far as Spider-Man goes, though, that one, I won't go into the whole thing, but that one looks pretty good. They're trying to do because we said Marvel has a certain formula, and they
Mhm.
just do the small things here and there. Like I noticed that, for instance, it'd be like this one. It is a espionage thriller but with superheroes. This one is a tech thriller or tech mystery with superheroes. This one's space with superheroes. Where this one is
Ant-Man's a
like
heist.
exactly. This one is John Hughes with superheroes. That's what this one is, and
Huh.
I like what I see. It looks still kind of modern, the humor, even though it's in high school, and they show like kids being funny and all that. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything too bad. Um, they have like they're playing like MGMT's that I'm feeling rough, I'm feeling raw, time of my life. No, 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 no. They're playing that song through
Mhm.
part of the trailer. So it looks it's gonna be like a fun high school movie. Tony Stark is kind of like they showed Tony Stark talking down to him, saying, like, look, you just gotta try out being a superhero, do the small stuff, leave the big stuff to us. And then at some point, Vulture comes in. And basically he's going after Vulture and he's in like, Shield and Tony Stark is like, no, 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 leave that to us. That's our job. You handle the small street level stuff. And that's where that's where it gets a little bit more dramatic in the trailer, him fighting Vulture and Michael Keaton saying like, I will kill your whole family, that kind of shit. So
See, well, that's
um
cool that they're using Vulture. That's, keeping it like at least they're not doing Green Goblin or something again. I'm
they're
glad it's
apparently
not like
using
a
go
hundred
ahead.
percent like this, like super like let's just remake what we've already did. It seems like at least they're still kind of progressing it, even if it's still been kind of like stalemated to like the same time period of
it's
Spider-Man's life.
It's the three villains that I know are going to be in this. How big they're each going to be, I don't know, but he has three villains: Vulture, the Tinkerer, and Shocker. And you know who's playing Shocker? I'm hoping it's a bigger. I don't really care that much for Shocker, but I really like this actor. You know who's playing Shocker?
Who?
Booking Woodbine.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the jerk off guy from like the jerk
From
off guy from
fucking
the Big Hit.
yeah, the big hit. I love
Man,
that.
I'd be straight jacking.
My favorite part of that movie too is I love at the very end they're having this big huge battle in like the video store, and all of a sudden they come across this section, and it just says like the adult room, and it says our best customer. It's just got a poster of him up there on the
And
wall giving the thumbs up.
she's like, man, I just tried jerking off. It is fucking amazing. He's
It's
like,
like you never done that
just,
before? No, I never.
no, I've
All
been
of a
getting
sudden,
laid since I was 12 years old. I never had to jerk off. Like, I mean, that's a movie that shit. We should do that. Want to do that one for our next retrospect? Maybe you can edit that out. Want to do that one for our next retrospect?
I guess we didn't do. For some reason, I thought we already did that as a retrospect, but I think it was
We
once.
didn't do the big hit. No, we didn't do that.
I think we planned on it at one point, and then somehow, some way, did not do it yet. So yeah, maybe
Okay,
we'll do it.
folks. Next week's episode retrospect on the big hit. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. I'll make it easy.
It cannot be undone now. I've already said it. Unless you just edit it out and there's just a big awkward silence for like 2 minutes. No, but he's gonna be playing the Shocker, and I've never really cared that much for that character, but since he's playing him, I'm kind of curious.
And I'm glad they have three villains in there too, because that's always a bummer to like a lot of superhero movies when they do the one and one. And I know there's a lot of people out there that actually like. I only like when there's one villain in there. To
Gives
me,
them
it's
time
like,
to develop the one villain or
yeah,
whatever.
it's like well, they're gonna develop. I'm like, but it's a movie. It's not a fucking like TV show where you can have the hero of the week or the villain of the week. You want to have at least two, if not three. And sometimes you can make up by not having. You could have maybe like two villains and then have like two or three maybe different heroes. In a sense, Marvel style. Like I'll use Iron Man 2 since I just watched that recently, because that one does have like okay, you have Tony Stark, and then you got fucking Mickey Rourke. There's your hero and villain. That's all there is. Technically,
You have Justin Hammer, who is a character in the
but
comics.
then, yeah, as I say, then you sort of have Justin Hammer, who's in a sense, he's not like a villain like you're gonna fight him, but he's kind of like a I guess he's financing this whole thing, and then you got War Machine and Black Widow thrown in there too. So it kind of rounds out that you got about 5 main characters at least. So that's kind of cool.
And then but this one, it could do one of those things because something a lot of movies have been doing lately, not just Marvel, but a lot of superhero movies, they seem to, or I guess Marvel's, no, I don't know, I guess mainly Marvel for the most part. I was gonna say maybe like Batman Begins does a good job of this, but they have your main one or two villains. And then a quick scene with I think Shocker just might be a quick scene. Like he stops a heist at the beginning of the movie or something, maybe like that. But it's kind of like what was it? Like kind of Captain America 2, how he fights I forget the guy, but the French parkour guy, because he's a villain in the comics. He fights him at the beginning, knocks him out, he's out of the way, and then he's on to Crossbones and Robert Redford.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how they should do it. Is you have your main villain, but then you also can have these ones that, yeah, maybe it's just the guy they fight at the beginning, but that's fine.
And Winter Soldier, of course, forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a movie. That's all it needs to be. So there's those things. But yeah, that Spider-Man one, it'll probably be pretty sweet. I can't imagine it not being.
I mean, I know when earlier on, we were both kind of like, I know how I was. I don't know if you still feel this way. I was a lot more of kind of like, man, they're just trying to make it super funny and super, I feel like they've toned back on the comedy. And since I was expecting the comedy, and since they also toned back on it now, I actually come to like them a lot more and just I think phase 1 was a little shaky in some areas, but
well, that's where I use Avengers as kind of even though I still like Avengers a lot, but Avengers was kind of where they just did the comedy almost a little too much. It's
all from Tony Stark too.
Yeah, and it was mostly all from Tony Stark, but other characters had it too. There was two, it's at least every 3 lines they had to have some type of joke. And then finally Captain America 2 came out, and I was like, oh fuck, we're back to making this movie serious. And then Avengers 2 was serious, and then Captain America 3 was very serious. So that's what I liked about it. Is they kind of went back. It's they still have jokes here and there. That's okay. I'm not saying anything against the jokes, but just don't make the movie an action comedy. Keep it an action movie that happens to have a little bit of comedy in it. Lethal Weapon 1, not Lethal Weapon 2 and 3, even though I like Lethal Weapon 2 and 3 a lot, but that's literally a perfect example of a movie where they're like, you know what, the funny stuff in Lethal Weapon 1 was really good. Let's just jack that up.
I think it's one of those things we all kind of, I don't know, it's I don't want to, I'm already this far, I'll just fucking say it. It's one of those things you could be, I was working on this one script, and I guess I did the stupid thing you shouldn't do, which is plan for a sequel. And then the second one, I was working on it, and I was just like, oh, a lot more comedy here, because I think my comedy writing's gotten better since then. So then while working on this thing, I was just like, man, it's just hold back and just try and focus on getting the first thing done, because work on the second thing, I was just like, the comedy, I got better writing comedy by this point, and the other one's well, it wasn't as much comedy. And I think that's just something that kind of comes out of people, well, people, I mean, that's coming from something in the aspect of something that already came out, so
yeah, I think it's also natural too. The more you get kind of into these characters, the first one you're always just you're starting off with the characters and stuff, you're getting to know them and everything like that, so you're just kind of right in there. But I think after you get to kind of know your characters more and you start really getting into them, I think then you start finding all these funny things that you picture them doing, and then next thing you know, that ends up being in your script, and it doesn't really happen. It's not like somebody sits down, a bunch of producers are like, that comedy in the first one, amp it up in the second one, really, really hammer that down. People seem to like that. I mean, I think sometimes that happens, but I think also too, I will say, I think it happens naturally. But almost you almost need to control it a bit.
Yeah. And this is just to clarify, folks, this is more of for this comic I'm trying to get off the ground, but I won't go into that now. But that was almost one of those things where I think it is naturally, the more you know the characters, the more you want to have interactions. And the way I don't know, me personally, when I write characters, I think I write best when they're just trying to talking shit to each other back and forth. And, I think that's almost something with the Marvel. I see that a lot in the Marvel movies. People just talking shit to each other back and forth. That's where a lot of the comedy comes from. Just small little nuances like that,
Yeah, little bits of bickering and so on.
The ones that don't work are where it's they got to kind of go out of their way for a big goofy set piece almost. Even though I like this movie more than you did, but it was Iron Man 3 where he's trying to get in the Christmas mood, and he's he's working. He's trying to bring the pieces to him, and he's just boo boo, flips over, as the pieces are all like flying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
And he's
'cause
like kind of like jamming like Christmas music while he's doing it, like some of that kind of shit.
yeah, something that, well, I think the downfall of Iron Man 3 is I just remember, like, I'd like to see it again, but I remember when going into it, it's like, oh, fuck, they're going to take this dark and serious. And then you watch the movie and it's like, oh, no, that was just some trailer editor's, like, idea. That wasn't what the movie actually was about.
Let me put it to you. Let me tell you this: if you could go back and enjoy Transformers, and if you like Transformer, you like Iron Man 2, you're gonna go back and you're probably gonna like Iron Man 3.
No, I bet you I'd actually like it much more second time around. I think it was just one of those ones, the expectations were set so high from the trailer. Sounds so weird to say that, but it looked like they were going, oh, fuck, they're Dark Knight and this shit. And then when it wasn't that at all, I kind of was like, oh, it's just back to the same old, like, jokes and slapstick comedy and so on. Oh, okay, well.
The big thing for me is because it was Mandarin. I'm not expecting.
Yeah,
to
that
be
was
like,
the other part too. It's just like, oh, what the fuck? You're not making that guy
Well,
legitimate?
my thing with Mandarin, it was just like I wasn't expecting him to come out be all like old timey like stereotype like, oh, Tony Stark, so we meet again. I was expecting nothing like that because he
But it would
does
have been
come from
better
the
if it
Cold War
was.
era. I'm not even saying that. I liked what Ben Kingsley was doing. Ben Kingsley came across as a good villain, even if he didn't have the 10 rings that gave him power, even if he didn't have all this sci-fi tech. He came across as a good, sinister villain. And then to find out, oh, I am an actor who's constantly nodding on and off out of heroin, da 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 da. It almost came across as a joke that belonged in Hangover.
Exactly.
And
Like, that's what it felt like. It did not feel like that should have been in a serious action movie.
And if that was some other character, if that was some character he bumped into later down the line for information, okay. But it was like, oh, that's the Mandarin. That's the guy that would like, because they even showed a poster of him. They showed a post because they had like the individual character posters.
Uh-huh.
His poster is him sitting on a throne, wearing the jacket. He has like an old timey like Captain America helmet with a bullet hole in it, and he's wearing sunglasses and he just kind of lounging there. I think he might have a beer can, and there's a bunch of guns around him. It was just like almost something like, oh, that looks like kind of like a Tony Montana like blanket you'd be seeing on the side of a flea market or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was just like, oh wow, that's a really cool looking picture. That guy's a bad guy, I can tell. And then to see he's just like this goofy, like British actor. And now there is a short film. Was each of the Marvel movies when it comes out on Blu-ray that comes with a Marvel? They were doing this for a while. I don't know if they still are.
I think they stopped that a long time ago because
The Marvel
not
shorts,
had those, like, on like the last 10 of them, it seems like.
the Marvel shorts.
Yeah, because that wasn't on Captain America 3. That wasn't
Oh,
on.
it wasn't. Right, it wasn't.
There wasn't one on Guardians of the Galaxy. There wasn't one on Avengers 2. There wasn't one on. Fuck, I'm trying to think. Was there one on Captain America 2? Captain America 2, I'm not too sure.
I don't think Captain America 2 had one. There was I think maybe the last one then. The last one I think it may have been, it was about that dude going to prison. It was like the 17-minute short, and it was actually entertaining. It was entertaining, and it was like he was being interviewed. And then you find out at the very end, the guy interviewing him works for the 10 Rings. And he says, oh, by the way, the guy you're impersonating, he's real. And he wants to meet you. So it's like, okay, so the real Mandarin is still out there. So
Yeah, I remember that. I think you're the one that told me that. I was like, oh, that's kind of okay, I guess. But why didn't you just have the real Mandarin in the first place? I think that's just such.
I think it's almost like a thing that came around secondhand. I think because like what happened was Guy Pearce, we thought he was the right-hand man, to find out he was the bad guy. Like, oh, this is our take of the Mandarin. He's a white dude with dragon tattoos over his chest, and he has these powers. That was one of those ones where they just kind of threw a bunch of stuff together, and like, cause the Extremis, I never read it, but that was a much more recent story when it came out, when it came out from that movie. And I think there are other characters that like they usually have their own powers. Like, oh, just give them the Extremis powers. Fuck it, and we'll just get it out of the way.
Yeah, probably something like that. Well, kind of speaking of other Robert Downey Jr. stuff, sort of, like, I was going back and watching this kind of like bunch of Sherlock Holmes movies, and I started with young Sherlock Holmes, which I think at some point would be a really fun one to do a retrospect on, because that movie, it's like, I've known about that movie for years, tons of time, and I never got around to watching it, never finally, sat down and really watched that flick. And I just ended up buying it on there, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and watch this movie. What the hell? I got to check this out at some point. This movie's always been considered like a big deal, even though it didn't do very good in the theaters, but there was a lot of stuff that came from this movie that almost changed movies as we know. So I was like, I gotta sit down and watch this. Put it on, watch this movie. Totally fantastic. I think it's 1987 or 80, maybe it might be 86. I'm not too sure. 87.
Chris Columbus movie, right?
Chris Columbus is the writer on the movie. I can't remember exactly who. Let me see. I got it sitting right here. Yeah, it's one of those movies that's produced by Steven Spielberg, so that makes it kind of a big deal there in the first place. Yeah, written by Chris Columbus and directed by Barry Levinson. So you got all these people working on it. I think it's even got, even Henry Winkler is one of the fucking producers, which that sounds kind of weird.
Oh, wow. Is he in the movie anywhere?
No, he's not in the movie at all. But the funny thing, too, is you watch this movie, and, like, right at the very beginning, it's like, holy fuck. This is, like, exactly where, I don't know if J.K. Rowling ripped off fucking this movie to make Harry Potter, but it's like, this thing was set up so much like Harry Potter. It's like, British school, there's 3 characters, it's pretty much the same dynamic as, like, Ron, Harry, and Hermione. It's like you see it there, and then it's kind of funny. You go, oh yeah, Chris Columbus. Wasn't that the guy that did the first 2 Harry Potter movies? Well, we saw where he kind of like came back. It's like, I'm going to fucking make sure I make money off this fucking story idea.
My thing is, why do you fucking leave Harry Potter? Because maybe they just got tired of it or something. But I like the second one. The second one I think's good. A lot of people talk shit on that one.
Yeah, for some reason, a lot of people, they're like, the first one's good, the second and third one suck, then they get better from there. I was like, I actually, my favorite Harry Potters are 1 through 4. I think that's the best ones. I think 5, 6, and 7 or whatever the heck they are, like those ones are all, they're still good, but it kind of just, I feel like you're almost kind of like, here's more of the same, we're just trying to end this story. That's kind of how they feel. I'm not saying that they're bad, but they don't stand out to me like the first 4 did.
It's like each one has like 1 or 2 things that really stand out to me. Like I remember the first 4 fairly well. Then when we get to 5, that's where the lady in pink comes in, starts fucking up the school. 6th one, and then I think maybe Sirius dies at the end of that 5. 6th one, Dumbledore dies. 7th one, 2-parter. You gotta take back the school.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I'm not saying there's not big stuff that happens in those other ones, but it feels like
That's how I almost remember them, though. It's like everything else kind of like at the last half kind of runs together. Like, which one did that happen in? But as far as the big events, that's like sums it up.
Yeah, exactly. And, they just don't stand out nearly as much. And maybe it is just after a while, it's kind of same old, same old. I don't mean that in a bad way. But going back to this young Sherlock Holmes one, this movie's literally, this was like the ultimate filmmaker's movie. Like, if you happen to be working in movie making and you got put on this movie, holy fuck, were they doing stuff left and right. The big thing that really this movie kind of has in it, that this is why that I think 100 years from now, people will still remember it as far as film historians go, because it's the first movie to have CG in a major motion picture.
Yeah, I thought I heard something about that. Like it was before like Terminator 2 and all that.
Yeah, it's way before all those movies. And it's before
when this come out, like 85 or so? Or
I want to say it's 87. Let me take a quick look. It is 85. Yeah, you're right. So yeah. And the interesting thing too is it's Pixar is the one that does the CG scene in there.
I'm just imagining a giant lamp. They're running away from a giant hopping lamp.
Yeah, this might even be before the lamp. Who knows, And they probably had their Pixar shorts. But this is when George Lucas still owned them too. So it's George Lucas Pixar. And it's like the part, it's like I've always known about it. And I've seen like little clips before that show it. Where it's like this stained glass creature jumps off, from a church window and runs down and pretty much kills a guy. And it's actually kind of amazing because like when they show it like in clips and things like that, it feels like it's this really big scene. I mean, it's probably all of like 15 seconds long, if that even. It's real. It looks great. It actually holds up. It probably is one of those ones. It probably looks better than CG in the late 90s. Like that's how good it is. But
every so often, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. But I say it's all of like 15 seconds. For some reason in my head, I pictured it like it was going to be a fight scene almost of like Sherlock Holmes fighting this. I don't know why, but that's for some reason. I think because they blow it up out of proportion. Like it's this humongous deal, which it is a huge deal, but it is just a quick little thing. And it's the first time they ever used CG in a major motion picture.
Yeah, I guess I need to see the movie for it. I mean, I know that it's one of those movies I hear like, I'll hear people talk about it. Like I've heard Kevin Smith talk about it on his show. I think I've heard Chris Hardwick talk about it, saying that is such an underrated movie. People need to go back to that. So it's one of those. I've always been kind of curious about it, but I'll be honest. I haven't even seen like I don't even know what the movie looks like. I haven't seen any images or any stills of it or any trailers for it. So it is one of those movies I like to check out eventually. Sometimes it's kind of cooler just going into a blind, not really knowing a whole lot.
That's to me. I personally, that's the best way to go into any movie. Like technically, I always say a movie poster is all you need. Don't need any more than that, even though that can sometimes lead you astray. But that's almost a nice way to go into it. Or the cover of the DVD. When this one too, it's the other thing that's cool about it too is it's got like tons of kind of cool like creature special effects, almost like Evil Dead style, with like kind of either animatronics, and they got claymation in the movie. I mean, they were using so much different stuff left and right. You could see that this movie was like fucking Steven Spielberg was up there fucking making it rain with money. You know, he was really putting this movie together well. Like he wanted to do something really cool, really neat, have this cool, fun kids movie in a sense. But the thing is, the movie's also pretty darn dark. And it says it's PG-13, and I'm not too sure if... I don't think PG-13 was out at that time period. So
re-rated later down the line,
maybe? It might
maybe?
have been re-rated, or it might have been like literally maybe the first rated PG-13 movie. But I always thought that Raiders of the Lost... Or not Raiders of the Lost Ark, but Last Crusade was the first PG-13 movie. But I could be wrong.
This movie right here, is it one of those things maybe where... how do I put this? Shit, I had it a second ago. Oh, yeah. Like, something about Sherlock Holmes movies... or Sherlock Holmes in general, is a lot of the times there always was some kind of supernatural thing, but they always Scooby-Doo it. Like, oh, that wasn't real magic. It was some asshole doing this or whatever. Is this movie, does it actually, oh, no, this is some real fucking magic going on? Or is it like Scooby doing it?
No, because mostly Sherlock Holmes always stays in like reality, but they use a lot of like the dark world kind of like ideas, because that's the whole point. It's supposed to be Sherlock Holmes like outwits it. So in this one, they got kind of this underground cult in London that's kind of got...
Underneath the school?
Not underneath the school, just underneath London. They got, but the school is involved in it, or certain faculty members are. But it's like an Egyptian kind of thing, and they got this ceremony that, of course, Watson and Sherlock break into with the girl, and they see what's going on. And it's actually like super dark and violent. They got these like 5 girls that are captured, and they're like wrapping them up like mummies. And then they're just got, they're putting them in the center area, and everybody else around them's kind of like saying these Egyptian words and everything like that. And of course, the one guy's wearing like the dog helmet thing. And what they're doing is they're taking this boiling hot water or whatever, and they're pouring it on top of those girls while they're wrapped up like mummies. So it's like
they actually, so you don't see them burning, but you hear them screaming while that's happening and all that.
No, for some reason they're not. I think they're like in a trance, or they're like medicated or something like that. Because the other thing that's going on in this movie is it starts off is there's these people running around town. They're shooting these blow darts at people, and when they get hit in the neck, they start hallucinating all this weird stuff. And this is where all like the special effects comes into, because at first there's this fat guy who gets shot, and he goes to like his favorite like eatery place, and he's like, oh, okay, here's your like flaming duck or whatever. So he's like, oh, my favorite meal, and he starts eating it, and then all of a sudden the fucking duck comes to life and starts fucking biting his nose, and it literally looks like Evil Dead, like almost like the fucking deer on the wall. And so it starts attacking him, but then it kind of cuts to everybody else in the restaurant looking at him, and it's just this guy's just like grabbing his chicken and holding it around his face, so only he's seeing it.
Oh, that's crazy. Actually, you know what? I did not see this movie, but I remember one day flipping through channels, I saw that part.
Yeah, see, so it's one of these movies where like you might have seen scenes from it, not really realizing it. Yeah, and then he runs out to the street, and I don't know if he gets ran over by a carriage, but he ends up dying. And then, no, I think the guy that ends up getting ran over in the street actually is...
I thought I was watching like a Christmas Carol for a second.
It looks like that because it's London, and it's 1800s, and it's snowing. And it takes place during, I guess it sort of does take place during Christmas. They don't mention that till the very end, where like, once it's like, we're all done, and Watson's like, Merry Christmas, Sherlock Holmes. He's like, go fuck yourself. No, he doesn't say that, but...
I'm an atheist. Fuck you.
But, yeah, it's interesting how dark it is. And then also, like, this priest guy gets shot, and that's where the CG stained glass knight comes out of. And then another character, yeah, they all start getting these weird things. One guy fucking shoots himself in the head with a pistol. Like, I think that might have been what might have put it off, because 1980s parents might have been like, oh, fuck, this movie's way too dark for kids. Like, kids should not be seeing this. There's people committing suicide in it, people, like, getting burned. And there's a lot of dark stuff. This movie's darker than a lot of, like, regular adult movies. I'll even say this, it's darker than the Robert Downey Jr. fucking Sherlock Holmes movies.
Well, that one just looked dark in tone. It really wasn't that dark of a movie. Hardly any, like, good guys die in that movie. It's always just a couple of lackeys. So second one had no problem just offing Rachel McAdams pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like, I went back after watching these movies. I sat down and watched the Sherlock Holmes, Robert Downey Jr. ones again, and actually both those movies are really good. Like, I don't think I've seen them since the theaters, but I kind of almost forgot how good they were. And the second one is one of those ones like they definitely do add a little bit more comedy. They do the thing where it's like, remember how there were some funny moments in the first one? Well, let's amp that up a bit. And for the most part, I think it's fine. The only one scene that I feel is like a little too slapsticky is when they go like, oh, we got to ride these horses.
Pony?
Yeah, and Sherlock's like, oh no, I don't ride horses. No. Too dangerous. I don't like the front or the back or whatever he says. And then they give him like the fucking midget like horse, and he's riding that, and it's like, yeah, that it sort of takes you out of the movie for a second because you kind of have this serious story going on, and then all of a sudden you throw in slapstick comedy. And that would have been fine if this was Mel Brooks's Sherlock Holmes movie, I would not have questioned it at all. But when you're watching, this Robert Downey Jr. Guy Ritchie picture that you're thinking is pretty serious, and then all of a sudden that's there. But I mean, this including that, it's that one's actually almost just as good as the first one. I actually think it's probably almost as good as the first one. But that young Sherlock Holmes movie, there's so many cool things I don't even want to tell you them because it's just amazing. And then this is just, for us, it's so funny. I'm watching this. I'm like, oh my God, I never noticed this. But Spunkles and Wallaby, they almost have like the exact same relationship as Sherlock Holmes and Watson. Because in this movie, too, it's like, they make Watson out like he's kind of like this pudgier fat guy. He's like, oh, I just want to come to school and learn and sit on me sad stump and read and stuff. And Sherlock Holmes is like, no, we got to go on an adventure. Come on, Watson. He's like, well, it's cold outside and I don't want to go and it looks dark and scary. No, don't be a pussy, Watson. You got to become a man. That's almost like what the story is. And they even have like that thing where like they got an old person narrating like, and that was the first time that I met Sherlock Holmes, and he really did turn me into a man.
I was like, he used his whole fist. He said it was the only way.
He said it was, and he made the girl watch, which I thought was kind of weird at the time, but I seem to understand the older I get.
This is as they have their arms around each other's shoulder, looking over like, I don't know, some burning building. Let's just say it's the bad guys. A slow pan, like pull away shot, crane. The onus is like. They're just explaining this. He did not let me use any lube either. He says only pussies use lube. And I just go into vivid detail. And that's how I met young Sherlock Holmes. Credits.
Yeah, but no, that movie, I was really impressed at how good it was. Like, I thought I was gonna like it. I mean, I like just about anything Sherlock Holmes I've ever seen. And it's kind of one of those ones I think about. I'm like, you know exactly why you like Sherlock Holmes so much? Because it's pretty much fucking Batman and Robin when you think about it.
If Robin was short, fat, and didn't wear tights.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're like, and it's funny because like I knew this already, but for some reason, like sometimes you need like ideas to be kind of brought back to you, and it really is that thing where it's like, oh yeah, duh. Batman's technically created from two things. You slap Sherlock Holmes together with fucking Dracula, and you get Batman pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Or Zorro.
Oh yeah, Zorro. That's the other real big one too. I forgot about that part. Zorro, Dracula, and Sherlock Holmes. You combine all three of those together, and you literally get Batman. I mean, obviously, there's more stuff over time, but at the start, you got the billionaire, you got the intelligence, you got the crime fighting, and you got the scariness, all wrapped into one.
Yeah, too bad they're not going to make a third. They're trying like, we're going to build a fucking franchise, and like the second one didn't do as well as they hoped. So like, oh, so much for that. You always kind of feel bad, depending on the franchise. Maybe you always kind of feel bad for it because every so often, like, yeah, man, we're going to get this bitch going. It's going to be a huge big deal, and then like it just kind of quits after like one or two movies. Like you could see they had plans to like map this whole thing out. Then we're going to give Watson his own movie.
Oh, yeah. And well, also speaking of Sherlock Holmes, too, if you do watch it, wait till after the credits because it actually does have a scene after there. So they were thinking about making a second one, too, sadly enough. It didn't happen. But
who was the villain for the third one?
No. In the young Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, young Sherlock Holmes.
Not in the Robert Downey Jr. one. I can't remember if there was something after.
Downey Jr. one, I don't think there was a post-credit sequence. There may have been, but
you
I remember the first one ends on this note of there's going to be a sequel, and there was a sequel. Second one, he apparently dies, and he didn't really die. He comes back like, haha, in a funny way. And then, I don't know if there's a post-credit scene, but there was a rumor before when the second one was being made that Brad Pitt was going to be Moriarty.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know what I think too? I think with the Sherlock Holmes movies, and this happens with a lot of other franchises they make, and sometimes it actually pans out more in the long run. And I think if you do give it, they can kind of come back around. I'll mention one that's like that, but I think it is that one. Like the first one comes out, and I think everybody was like, "Oh fuck, that's a really cool way to do Sherlock Holmes," you know? Because I think in most people's minds, it's just, "Oh, it's just two old men putting around London finding clues." It's like that just seems like some boring talkie picture. So I think in like a lot of people's like minds, that's what it was, or it's the fucking Great Mouse Detective or something like that. It would probably nobody's coming to that conclusion, but that's kind of like like a forgotten.
I forgot that's like a really forgotten Disney movie. That's an '80s one too, isn't it?
No, I think it's actually late '70s.
Really?
I could
That's
be wrong.
one
It might be in '80s, but like when I was a kid, I actually watched that one a lot.
I did. I just remember it being kind of like that was sort of my introduction to Sherlock Holmes. So
But yeah, so that's there, and I think that's what it was. And then it was kind of a cool. That was, I think, what made the Guy Ritchie ones kind of neat. Is they just kind of took Sherlock Holmes, gave it a little bit more action. You know, even though there's still always action in them, but that one just kind of upped the action a little bit. It made it this really fun adventure movie that, you know, it's always been an adventure movie, but really just add that next level to it. Almost the same thing they did with Star Trek. That's kind of how I feel. Like they did them almost the same style. You know, let's take this, you know, here's something that's a really cool story, really cool concept, all this stuff like that, but just a little bit more action in just to get everybody else on board. And I think what happens is those movies come out and people are like, yeah, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see a second one. And the second one comes out, they're like, okay, that's cool, but, you know, I'm kind of done with the Sherlock Holmes thing.
I think that's how people are. I mean, I think a couple of things happen. I think people just get tired, like, well, it made money, just not as much as we hoped, so we're done. Because apparently, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. Amazing Spider-Man 2, and apparently it made money, just not as much as they hoped. They're hoping for it to be like the next big thing, where it wasn't. It was just like, oh no, it did all right, just wasn't as big as the other one. So I think that they don't want to go any further, and they just kind of like puss out a lot of the times on that type of shit.
Even Star Trek feels like it kind of had that same thing too. Like, because the first one, like the new series, was like, oh my god, this is so big, this is so awesome. I'm now a Star Trek fan. Look at all these, that's how people's almost reactions were. And then the second, third one came out. I'm like, oh, and they're like, oh, it just didn't care anymore.
No, I feel like they cared. I feel like the second one, I think they were trying to do two things. They were trying to introduce Khan to people who'd never seen a Star Trek thing before, and then also trying to like, he's a fan favorite. He's basically the Joker of Star Trek. Let's bring this fucker in. And then it just like, it just really just pissed off a lot of hardcore fans, and then word of mouth. Then like, because that's the thing. People said it was a good action movie. It wasn't a good Star Trek movie. That's what a lot of Trekkies said. And then,
well, here's the thing. I'm not talking about the Trekkies. I'm talking about the regular people that never watched Star Trek beforehand. It felt like
it did good enough to get a third. It did good enough.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying the movies didn't do good, but they just did the thing where they weren't nearly as a big deal as that first one was of the kind of new series. It seemed like it came out, and here's the thing: the reason why they do good is because Star Trek has this long, big fan bases. I know Sherlock Holmes technically has a longer fan basis if you really think about it, but that's kind of what keeps the Star Trek alive, is there's always gonna be people like that. But I think just the average Joe that was like, oh my god, that first Star Trek of the new series, that was fucking amazing and everything like that. And then when the second, third one came out, they're like, oh yeah, I'll get around to it.
I also think it's one of those things where it's like Star Trek. I've heard multiple people say this, even hardcore Star Trek fans. Like, I think it may have been Simon Pegg himself who said this. He's like, don't get me wrong, I love Star Trek and I wish I could play Scotty forever. But Star Trek is made to be more of a television series than a movie series. For how many characters there are and how many things they do, it's made to be a television series. And I can kind of see what he means. And on top of that, it's one of those things where, so that's why they got to lean more on the action for the movies, which I think maybe you could correct me because I haven't seen very many Star Trek movies, but I think even the movies that went to theaters before this reboot did lean a little more on action in certain cases.
Well, they did because one, they had the bigger budgets, and two, yeah, they always kind of did. Some of them not as much as others, but to me, I'm one of those people like, I guess I've never been the biggest TV fan in the first place anyways, because I see it. Maybe to me is like I see all the problems of TV. Like, yeah, you can take stories and stretch them out and have more characters and things like that. Like, I get that aspect of it. But sometimes at the same time, you're like, yeah, but the budget's always going to be lower. It's always going to look hokier. You got to have all this filler, and that's, I think, what loses me. That's why I love movies, is because movies feel like here's the streamlined version of it. We cut all the flab that you didn't want in the first place out of it. There is no filler generally, And we're going to since we got a little bit more budget to put into this one movie instead of spreading it out between 12 to 24 episodes, it's going to have some better special effects and it's going to look a little bit nicer and prettier. And that's kind of what I like about why Star Trek's one of those ones, like I've watched like all the movies throughout my entire life, but I never really watched the show. It just didn't appeal to me as nearly as much. It's like, TV, I'm not saying not saying anything against it. It's just, that's just not for me. I'd rather watch a movie.
Another reason why I think maybe Star Trek was a little bigger with the reboot.
Mm-hmm.
I think the reason why that one was a little bigger when it first came out is because we were done with Star Wars. There was the prequels are done. That's it. No more big major space franchise. And then like, do you see Star Trek? Oh wow, it was really good. Yeah, might as well be the next Star Wars. Yeah, okay, cool. And then, it wasn't right around the corner, but I think maybe like 5 years later, right a little after probably the Into Darkness came out, like right around that same time. That's where like Disney just fucking bought Star Wars and they're doing a whole new set of films. And that's where it's like, oh, who gives a fuck, and pushes Star Trek out of the way.
No, that is definitely probably back. Like the total truth.
And who are they getting to do Star Wars? The guy that did the first Star Trek? Oh, fuck yeah,
No, I think that's definitely the case with Star Trek. Here's a series that I can say that almost had it where they're like, okay, the second one came out. Well, I guess that's about done. People don't care nearly as much, but it did come back around and actually get even better over time, was the Mission Impossible movies. Because that's a perfect example. Like the first one came out, everybody's like, oh, fuck, this is so badass. And, everybody's parents are like, yeah, I remember watching this show in the 60s. And then 2 came out, and, 2, it's probably the weakest of them all. And it literally was made for like, okay, the kid who's hopped up on Mountain Dew? We got the movie for you.
That movie's a time capsule.
It represents the late 90s better than like a lot of other things.
It's right there. That's where the Skype kind of cut out on us, and somehow, some way, we weren't able to retrieve anything back. I know we were going to continuously talk about Mission Impossible, 90s Legacy, and how that series kind of reinvented itself, but whatever, we were damn close to the end, so we'll just call it a day right here. Make sure to check out more at oldmanorange.com. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes, and that was Ryan Dunigan signing off. Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. Won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks for listening, and tune in next week to Old Man Orange.